Okay, now that we are on to the next example, example 4, again we've got another river problem. We've got two hotels located on the same side of the river, and they are 400 meters apart. Across the river from them, so here's the other bank of the river, is the dock, and the dock of course is where the two ferries leave to take tourists to each of those hotels, and the angle made from the riverbank and the lines drawn from the hotels to the dock, 36 degrees and 59 degrees respectively. We want to know how far each hotel is from the dock to the nearest meter. Therefore, we want to find out that distance and this distance. So, if we take a look at this, what kind of triangle is that? Is that a right triangle or a non-right triangle? Okay, so it's non-right triangle, therefore we cannot use the primary trigonometric ratios. Do we need to use the sine law or the cosine law? Okay, so since we're given two angles, we can find the third angle easily enough, and then because we have the length of the side across from that angle that we just found, or will find, we'll be able to use the sine law for that. So angle D is 180 degrees minus 36 degrees minus 59 degrees. And I'll just calculate that here, and we see that that is 85 degrees. Okay, so now we can find the two side lengths, and so we'd say that H1 over the sine of 36 degrees equals 400 over the sine of 85 degrees. And I can set up the same thing over here, H2, sorry, that's H squared. H2 over the sine of 59 degrees is 400, use the same ratio again, over the sine of 85 degrees. Okay, and then we just do the cross multiplication. Make sure I put all the degree signs in there, and then I'll just do the calculations. So 400 times sine of 36 divided by the sine of 85 for path H1, and for path H2, 400 times the sine of 59 divided by the sine of 85 is 344 meters to the nearest degree. Now the question is asking us, what's the width of this part of the river to the nearest meter? So we need to find now this distance. That would be a perpendicular, because the width would be straight across. So basically the altitude of the triangle. And so we've got two different right triangles here now that we can use. Use one or the other, doesn't really matter. And because we found H1 and H2, those are both the hypotenuses, or hypotenusae, of both of these right triangles, and we have these angles here. So either triangle we use will be just fine. So I would say, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use this triangle on the right side, and so we want this side here, which is across the triangle from the angle, which would be the opposite, and we have the hypotenuse now. So sine of 59 degrees equals the opposite, or the width of the river, over the hypotenuse. So the width equals the hypotenuse times sine of 59 degrees. Hypotenuse the hypotenuse there is h1, 236 meters times the sine of 59 degrees. And that gives us 202.29, which is approximately 202 meters. Okay, so those are the examples for this lesson. Please work on a couple of these to start tonight, and then finish off the rest of them in class tomorrow. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in class.